So this morning, I'm going to do a vlog of me going for a meal. This is a lunch, actually, at St. Francis House, which is one of the excellent resources for homeless and low-income people who live in the Boston area or any area accessible to Boston, where they provide meals and even assistance from like case management to social work to, I guess, some type of assistance with housing. So mainly for homeless people, and then also for low-income people, people on Social Security, probably also for the elderly, especially people who don't have enough funds for their retirement. Also for the young people too, but definitely focused on homeless people and low-income people in the Boston area. So let me just get my things on, and then I will get going. I cannot find my hat. So I gotta find my hat. I'm actually really early. It's only 10:37, and lunch starts from 11:30 and ends at 1. Oh, found it. So, got my hat on. Getting ready to go. And I'm going to take my glasses off to rest my eyes because I've been up early since about 3:30 this morning. I did some writing, put some stuff on Facebook and Instagram. Finished transferring some files from my old phone. And, the unfortunate thing is the chapter that I wrote today, which is chapter 10 of Overcoming White. Unfortunately, did not save because it seemed, after a long conversation with Asus about it, it seems like a system update to my computer caused the computer not to save that information properly, and also for my computer to stop responding at that point. So I had to just reboot it. But fortunately, my computer is still working very well, which I'm very grateful for. I do like that Asus computer now a lot. For me, yeah, it rivals Sony. I did like Sony too, but Asus support has been really great too. Although I do have to be really informed and do have to have a sense of what I know and what I don't know, and when to ask a very appropriate question, and also when to ask all my stupid, lack of knowledge questions so that I can understand that stuff, because I definitely am not a computer scientist. But maybe I'll take a course on that someday soon. So as a result of that, I lost that one chapter, but I have the notes for it, so I will I'll probably rewrite it later, but I'm tired, so I decided to take some time off today to do something else rather than to try to forge ahead with determination and strength. I decided to rest. So it is time to go, and I gotta flip this camera around. So it's to St. Francis House, which is down at near Boylston T stop. Boylston T stop is the closest stop off the green line. Off the orange line, the closest stop is the Chinatown stop. And And then I think it's off of, I'm not sure the exact road, but it's close to those stops. In between those two stops, actually off that road there. It's not Tremont, I don't think, but I'll probably put the exact address in the description. And it is getting colder, although it's still a really nice day up here in Boston. But one thing that I've realized for me, you know, keeping my hands warm makes a big difference, and protecting my fingers. I don't really like my fingers to get too cold and too frigid, and I prefer to wear the gloves, even sometimes when I don't have to wear a hat or even a coat, just to keep my hands warm, so my little dedos don't start to freeze. And here we go. This is out the entrance, the main door of the apartment building, or the apartment that I live. And now, as usual, it's the Symphony. So I'm near Symphony Tea Stop now, which is right over there, and it has 4 different entrances. But there's another great view of the Prudential Tower, or Prudential, which is a part of Prudential Center, which is a very fun and safe place to go to hang out, get something to eat, to do some shopping, and even to use a payphone. They have payphones in there for people who need a payphone still. So this is down to Symphony. The other thing about living in the north, or specifically in the northern climates, in the cold climates, is there's some little things that make a difference, such as knowing, for instance, when it's cold, to sit on wood as opposed to stone or metal. Not joking. That makes a big difference. You get to stay a little warmer, and it becomes a lot more economical because you're not freezing and losing a lot of energy every single day. I realized that when I was going through homelessness, and I started doing all those little things, and it made it easier for me. So this is Symphony Tea Station, 1/4 of it in terms of the entrances. So right there. What else about? So actually, if any of y'all come to Boston or move to Boston, but even if you're coming to Boston, you can get a T pass. You can get like a Charlie ticket, which is what most people get. But you can also get Massachusetts Bay Transportation Charlie card, something like that. And that one's mine. So there it is. That's a Charlie card. This one's specifically for me. They have my information. I get a discounted card, mainly because I went through homelessness. As a part of homelessness, most of us end up going through the mental health system. And there are some benefits from that, especially probably throughout the United States and other countries. Canada, I'm pretty sure, has a pretty good one too. But there are some social security benefits and housing benefits, as well as electronic benefit transfers, and this MBTA card, subsidized cards. I mean, I still do have to pay for that out of really the income that I get, whether it be stuff that I'm paid for work that I still do, or majority through welfare. But it definitely makes a difference. It's a lot more than I would have expected, and a lot more than probably many other countries even. So yeah, so there it is. This train's going in the Lechmere direction, and this is going to be an E train on the Green Line, and it's going to be coming in about 6 minutes. It's 10:46 in the morning now. So I'm going to get on the train soon, and I'll resume filming when I'm at Boylston Tea Stop off the Green Line. So I arrived at Boylston. I actually ended up going a little bit past my stop, but came back to Boylston, and now I'm leaving the Boylston Tea Station off the Green Line. This is the most direct way for me to get to Francis' house from from the apartment that I currently live in, which is the apartment that I rent. So yeah, so that's why I'm going this way. But I could take the orange line and go to Chinatown, but I'm gonna cross rather than standing in the cold. Ooh, I guess I won't be crossing. The light turned green. Anyway, you know, the interesting thing is that after I really understood medicine, I started realizing that a lot of the homeless people are a lot healthier than I could have ever imagined. Especially when I was looking at their weight and their body habitus and body size. A lot of them are thin. Some of them do drink a lot of alcohol, some of them do drugs. A lot of them, you know, stay out of the way and do the little things that they enjoy each day, and enjoy probably, you know, the time that they have. I'm pretty sure there's always well, for a lot, there ends up being some kind of lonely period or isolation, because it's not always easy to find other people until you find all these excellent resources that are provided by nonprofits and really by the government. You know, yeah, the nonprofits are great too, but it's really the government that's doing a lot of this, pretty much all of it, and then the nonprofits and stuff. There are some people who do it privately and true, but I don't think that approach really is as sustainable, because privately funding and paying and giving things away all the time isn't so easy when you have to make a living for yourself. Whereas pooling resources through the government and using economics is a very sustainable approach, which is pretty much what happens on Social Security. I've even calculated how much I would be getting from each American, for instance. It factors down to pennies. So this is Francis House. Right here, it's a day shelter. Opens at 6:30 in the morning, closes at 3. And then it closes at 2 on Wednesdays. And then it actually, so there's Francis House there too. There's an address. So there it is, 39 something. There's a road down here. I'll put the address on the description or in the description. I'm early for lunch, so let me just see what time it is. And I'll probably have to turn this off to get through this game. Oh, there's the clock. So yeah, it's 10 past or 12 past 11 in the morning, and lunch doesn't start till 11:30. So I'm gonna go back outside and hang out, and then I'll come back in about 20 minutes. But anyway, yeah, a lot of the homeless people are a lot healthier than I could have ever imagined. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them don't have the financial stress. Some of them do, don't get me wrong. But a lot of them really figure out how to live frugally, as I also have. Some of the frugality I learned from my grandmother. You know, she lived on a farm and managed a farm with her husband, my grandfather. And on a farm, you know, sometimes there's limited cash flow, and sometimes there's usually always enough food though. But so I saw her like save all the bags, anything she bought, anything that could be reused, she would reuse. Rather than recycling it in some like community pooling system like they do here, she would just keep it until she needed it again. Anyway, this is also another place I still go to. It's the Explorer Tour. I've been here a few times now. They have pretty good food too. Boston has a lot of nice restaurants. And it's pretty well priced. And even the things that are on the expensive side are almost always still worth it up here in Boston. And then this park over here is the Boston Commons. It's like a famous park. Probably one of the first in the United States. Past that park, if you walk through that park, walking away from me right now, for instance, that'll take you to Boston Public Garden, which is, you know, another, I mean, Boston has a lot of firsts and a lot of famous things, especially for the United States of America. So, you know, it's New England, where the British really came and settled and started what the first colonies here in the New England area. Right over to Mayflower and Plymouth and Plymouth Rock and some other places. Anyway, I have to be resourceful with the time on my iPhone so that I can at least finish the vlog properly. But so I'm gonna turn this off soon. And actually I'm gonna just go over to Boston Common. It's not too cold. My hands are feeling a little bit cold, so I want to put the phone away too so I can put my gloves on to keep my hands a little bit warmer. I don't like getting my hands cold, and I also am not trying to get frostbite ever. There's one homeless guy who was sleeping outside in the Boston area, and he his legs were unprotected that night, and it was raining and it was a cold night, and his legs got wet and he got frostbite to the point that his legs went numb and he couldn't really walk. He got up and kind of stumbled around. Some people saw him. They called an ambulance. 911 came, took him to a hospital, and the surgeons told me his legs had to be amputated, otherwise he would just get gangrene and had the risk of a very serious infection like sepsis, which shuts down the rest of the organs, which is what we call multi-organ failure, which makes sense, you know, so like kidneys failing, heart failing, lungs failing, liver failing, different organs, even the pancreas. All the organs start to get affected, even the spleen. I haven't been here in a while, so it's fun. They have nice tennis courts. These are open to the public. You just have to bring a racket and balls. My father plays tennis still. I don't really like it too much anymore, because too many times of him serving the ball at me, he get his aces. Sometimes I hit the ball back. And also because it causes hypertrophy of my biceps, especially of my right arm, since I'm right-handed. And I don't really like how that feels anymore, especially with that. When I was playing soccer, I enjoyed it, but now that I've taken such a long break and rested and didn't do any major physical activity and just ate healthy, it's just not what I always want to do. But I still like soccer, and I still do enjoy training for soccer. My body's kind of formed by that already. So here are the views of Boston. Now it's time to get in line to eat.
Isn't that quality anyway, you know? So nowadays, you know, pork in general. Oh yeah, pork contains a lot of that.
And you have to work hard for this.
When it breaks
That's
down,
what I get for waiting around.
more or less, your pork is where you're gonna get your pieces. You know, your messed up pieces.
Although if you don't have a card, they'll let you in. If you come frequently, then you have to have a card.
Beef and chicken.
It wallows in the mud.
And he does that for a purpose. Yeah, you mind, you good.
One shirt was like $98.
Everything. The only thing that gets
One of those papers down to the top. I was down yesterday and
Yeah, time to find a seat. Sometimes you gotta be careful.
me too. I bring it to this lady.
So that's chicken, potato, orange juice, or orange, butter, apple juice, plastic knife and fork. And there's also salad, but I skipped the salad. And there's a salad over there. I gotta plug my phone in now. So I got a seat by a plug. So yeah, this is pretty standard for Francis' house. It's all edible.
Hey, Mommy, go.
Oh my god. And the chicken is not bad. Pretty much like a high school cafeteria.
You have a can?
Alright, I'm gonna eat. And I'm taking a break from the chicken. And it's time to eat some of this potato. And then maybe I'll take the orange home. I was collecting the butter for a while, but yeah, probably should keep the butter. Can save a little bit of money instead of paying for butter. Since I still like butter with toast. They don't really add a lot of salt to any of the food. Most times they don't add any salt, it seems. And they don't use a lot of oil either. And they also don't add sugar for the most part. So it's pretty a healthy diet here. Which is kind of surprising. I guess not really surprising. It wasn't surprising after med school, knowing that they have nutritionists for a lot of these places. Including in the hospital. But it was definitely surprising. It would have been more surprising before med school. So, one of the reasons why I was so interested in homelessness is because of my experiences living between Jamaica, Canada, and the United States. And, in Jamaica, there probably are a lot, there definitely are a lot of homeless people compared to probably Canada. And probably the US, but especially when it's standardized for population size. But it's so warm, and in some ways it's a little bit easier than being homeless in the cold. But I definitely saw the difference when I would travel to Jamaica and see people on the street, and as opposed to being in Canada. And then also in Orlando, I really didn't see a lot of homeless people in North America until I came to Orlando. And then Boston, although Boston, everybody kind of seems to have enough in Boston. And the other reason why I was really interested in homelessness also had to do with the story of Buddha, who, as I understand it, was a prince and grew up very wealthy. And then he decided to leave his parents' premise or castle or whatever it was that they owned, and saw the rest of the world, and after that decided to live in poverty. That was always fascinating to me too. Anyway, I'm going to finish up the chicken. And there's the butter. I'm going to pocket the butter. They give it away. I don't know though. I already feel for the orange, so I cut it into quarters, and I'm gonna eat it. This is the healthiest way to eat an orange, even healthier than orange juice. And the last quarter of that orange. And the last piece of chicken. Then I have, you can actually go back through the line as many times as you can get through the line until they run out of food. I usually don't go more than, well, most times I go once, but there are sometimes when I went twice, and one time I went 3 times. But I'm usually not that hungry. One thing I know, this food is not killing me, and that makes a big difference. So they also have breakfast here at 7:30 till 9 a.m. and that's every day. And then lunch is 11:30 till 1 p.m. every day. And then for dinner, the place to go is Pine Street Inn. I'll probably do a vlog on Pine Street Inn. And I might come back here for breakfast and do a vlog too. Maybe. I'm not sure.
And they want repairing. Nowadays,
Buddy, buddy. Wow. My dude. Hey, you alright? Man, you're falling asleep here.
Anyway, it's time to leave. I'm not going to hang out too much, but there are some cool people here. It takes a little time to find them. And all I have to do now is empty the tray and put it in the washing area. Some people would even pocket the plastic knife and fork, which makes sense to me, but I don't do that because I prefer cutlery to plasticware. So now it's back outside. A card for the people who either really need these services or would benefit from it. It's this card. It's a guest membership card. There's my name on it and my birth date and my picture, and there's Francis' house right there. Nothing on the back, and then they just keep track of the number of times people go in and out, and they offer other services, but the main thing that they do is well, one of the main benefits for me anyways is the food. That's one of the biggest things. I save a lot of money. I mean, it's not a lot, but you know, $5, $10, $15, $20 even for a meal. I mean, there are times I've even spent up to $100 something on a meal. For instance, I bought 2 steaks at Strip by Strega for like $110. It was worth it one time for the experience, but it was a lot of meat. The meat lasted me like almost 2 weeks. I had to make sandwiches. And that's a lot of red meat. It's a really nice day. So yeah, it's a really nice day, so I'm not actually in a rush to get home. I've already, every morning now, I'm up around anywhere between 1 o'clock in the morning to 3:30, and I sleep from like, you know, anywhere between 6 or 7 or 9 p.m. until that time. So I don't really want to go back home to be cooped up in my apartment. And especially when it's such a comfortable day. Warm enough that I don't even have to wear gloves right now, and my hands aren't freezing. So my guess for the temperature, because I've been keeping track of the temperature lately, or you know, for a while, but trying to get a better sense so I can estimate it or guesstimate it without having to look it up all the time. And I'm pretty sure today it's gonna be around 40. Today is probably around 40 degrees Fahrenheit when it's this warm. It might even be close to 50, but I'm pretty sure it's 40. I either overestimate or underestimate. In the cold, I usually underestimate, where it's like 10 degrees lower than what it actually is. When it's warm, sometimes I guess I think I overestimate in those situations. Anyway, there's another great view. I'll show you another view of the Prudential. Well, this one's John Hancock. And there it is. That's one of the prestigious buildings of Boston. And there's a big history behind whoever built it. I don't know if it was that some HP, there's some Asian guy who did one in Cambridge, and I know he did one of these in Boston. I don't know the firms who did all this stuff and all the people. I'd have to learn all that crap. Not horrible, it's probably interesting. I know it's actually really interesting, but it takes so much work, so. But yeah, I do have an uncle who's an architect, but he's not easy to talk to all the time. For some reason, he's not willing to share all his information the way I was expecting. So, let me just flip this around again. Thank you. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish up this vlog here. My camera died while I was walking through Boston Public Gardens. But so yeah, that's Francis' house. I'm now at the Taj Boston, which is a pretty nice hotel. I've eaten here a couple times. They have some decent food too. The restaurant's actually that way. But yeah, today I decided to go to Francis' house, save a lot of money, and have a decent meal. And sometimes I see some people who also went through homelessness who I've connected with, and you know, either have apartments or still living in shelters until they can either get an apartment, or you know, some of them are looking for work, although the work usually doesn't get them to an apartment that quickly, or sometimes at all, because it's just not enough work. So we end up doing something else. But it is a great resource, a great one for Boston, and I'm pretty sure there are others like it throughout some other cities. I don't know all those details. It would actually be great if there was like a really well put together resource guide for like homelessness, really on Earth even, or throughout the whole United States, or even for frugal living. But that would take a lot of work, and that would be a big collaboration, because there is a lot. And even just finding and aggregating or collecting all of the information here in Boston would be a lot of work. There are some government like books that have that, but finding them is not the easiest thing. Pretty much you just end up having to Google each specific thing until you finally get a result that's helpful, or word of mouth, because sometimes even through the healthcare system, some people just don't get this information, either because they don't know enough or their provider doesn't know enough, and that still happens. So anyway, there it is. That's my vlog on St. Francis House, and one meal, which is lunch, that I had. And now I'm pretty much signing off from Taj Boston. I'm about to walk back to my apartment. So definitely view my videos, like them, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you have any ideas you want to share, you can comment or else you can also send an email to me. My emails are listed below the description of each video. It should be somewhere down there or within the description. Bye. So yeah, it's another great day. So I guess instead of just ending the vlog here, I can just keep filming things until that battery on my iPhone dies or is not sufficient to keep filming. But I'm gonna walk through well, this is Boston Common, and then I'm gonna walk towards the Boston Public Gardens. There'll probably be people sitting on the benches today. It's that comfortable, so maybe I'll just hang out. This is a great place to bring a blanket, and on the commons you're allowed to lay in the grass. In the gardens you're not supposed to, but some people do it anyway. But you're not supposed to. They have signs up. Here's another example of street shopping though. These are the kind of things I don't know why or how this happens. I mean, obviously someone dropped it or maybe threw it away. I mean, this kind of thing, I imagine someone just dropped it. It's like I hear a scrunchie. But so I picked it up, take it home, clean it off. Some of it I put in the laundry if it's really dirty. Some of it's really not that dirty, so I don't just start washing it all. I'll wait till it's a little soiled and then I'll wash it. But I think it's also maybe because there's a lot of college students in Boston. And I know as a college student, even for me, I went to University of South Florida, and I was running around trying to get everything done as fast and efficiently as possible. And, you know, sometimes had to redo things, sometimes lost things, sometimes just threw things away kind of flippantly, when if I was taking my time I would have kept everything that I had. So I think it's, you know, partly because of the college students, but it's usually not. I mean, yeah, none of the stuff that I've found is really that expensive. There's one coat that's probably like $100 or $200 when bought new, but it has some holes in it. It's a little ripped, but it looks decent. I already got a compliment on it. It's warm, and it's something that, you know, looks interesting to me, but I probably would not have bought. So I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to wear it and not have to pay any money. You know, it only took some time, which is the time of picking it up, making sure, you know, nobody was gonna charge me with a crime for picking up a jacket that was abandoned or seemingly abandoned, which could happen. Not God, it's possible, but I think it's unlikely, but it's possible. I've heard stories even of things like that. Not exactly that exact thing, but things that are similar. Eventually I'll also do a vlog dedicated to my criminal history. It's not really a long story, but it is interesting, and it does you know, it does reveal a little bit about, you know, homelessness and some of the struggles of homelessness. I think it reveals more about that than really mental health, although people think it's, you know, like that they're one in one. If you have one, you automatically have the other, and that's not really the case either. Like, homelessness can also be a lifestyle, which for me, like in Jamaica, I'm not saying that Jamaicans are all homeless, but I do know there's a good population that just want to be, and they just want to enjoy themselves, even if it's just on the island of Jamaica. I know, you know, I've met some people that live that way, you know, where we just want to rest, hang out at the beach, listen to the water, cook some food so we have something to eat, hang out with the animals, even the dogs, the goats. It's usually goats that I see with those people in Jamaica. And you know, it's interesting, I think there are some people in Boston who just want that kind of lifestyle in Boston, who they don't really want to you know, be caught up in all the systems and the whole economy, and, you know, even capitalism, or, you know, probably even communism. You know, they're not necessarily communists either. It's just a different appreciation for life. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna do one on the criminal history. I'm actually already a convict now. I've been charged guilty for indecent assault and battery, which was, well, the one that I got convicted of, I don't even recall actually doing that one. I mean, I got charged for 4 counts on 4 different women who were, you know, in their late 20s to mid 30s. And 3 of them I knew what I was involved in and kind of what I had done and kind of what was going through my brain at the time. And those 3 I got not guilty by reason of insanity because, you know, I wasn't trying to lie even. And even from my first arrest ever, I was willing to just sit there and tell the judge the exact truth. And if that landed me with a guilty, that probably would have been the end of my criminal history right then. Boom, I got a guilty. Time to move on. Some more street shopping. But they didn't do that. The lawyers, you know, they really weren't representing me. Is the interesting thing. They were representing themselves as lawyers and what they think they should do and what the Commonwealth thinks they should do rather than listening to me, which I'm very simple in my approach, which was just to be completely honest at that point and get to hear the truth about how the law interprets my behaviors and my actions. And then it escalated because, you know, I was still struggling through coming out of homelessness in some sort. Like I had then an apartment, and I was trying to figure out if I could get into surgery. So there's another thing. And there's someone playing an Asian instrument of some sort. It's usually a Chinese instrument. I think he's sitting on a bench over there. So this is a little bridge that they have in public gardens. The guy's over there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, if they would have just listened to me, I mean, it might have ended up with a guilty, but it would have happened so much quicker. And after that one conviction, I would have been moving on, not trying to press the limits and figure out what I was thinking, figure out what I was trying to do. I would have just been like, well, tell me what I have to do so I can, you know, keep on a straight and narrow path and move on with my life and maybe even my wife. But yeah, they were trying to keep me from being convicted, whereas I just wanted to tell the complete truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. They wanted me not to even be a witness for the incidents that I was involved in. I'm gonna do a vlog specifically on that, on my criminal history, and it'll happen soon. But I just have to finish up a letter to Michael J. Coyne and the lawyers